Are you doing this with your makeup? You should stop. It's Dr. Greeny here. I'm a dermatologist and I really don't want you to make these mistakes with your makeup. I'm only telling you this because some of these things can be harmful to your health and maybe even cause permanent issues for you. Now I understand skincare is kind of expensive, so I get the idea of saving money, but we got to really take into account what some of these risks can be with doing these mistakes with makeup. Now to alleviate some of these problems, things like parabens, which you may have heard of and may even be scared of, and things like formaldehyde have been used to try to limit some of these risks. Now I will say I'm not totally against parabens. They have been proven to be an irritant for some people, but generally they're actually very helpful to be in our cosmetic products and makeup because they stop bacteria and fungus from growing in our makeup. Did you know when you buy your makeup from the store that it's not completely bacteria free oftentimes? They actually can't really produce it to be bacteria free. So there are some bacteria in there, and these preservatives are actually in place to prevent the bacteria from overgrowing and getting to dangerous levels. Now parabens and preservatives are kind of interesting in the sense that we apply makeup to our eyelids. So actually our eyelid skin is one of the most absorbent skins in our body. So that's an area where some of these chemicals can get into our body more readily. Because women use makeup more often than men, actually women tend to have higher levels of these things in their blood. So ladies, you need to keep listening. I just want to help. So again, the practical use of putting parabens and preservatives in our makeup products is to allow those products to last longer. So the question is, how long can makeup products stay safe after you open them? So to answer that question, it's important to understand basically how long the preservatives like the formaldehydes or parabens continue to work. Because when these no longer work, then bacteria and fungus can start to get to dangerous levels. Now most products you see are good between 3 and 12 months, but it's kind of individualized on the product and type of product. Before I get into exactly how long different products are good for, I want to talk about some of the practical tips to reduce contamination from bacteria in your makeup products. For one, if you end up with pink eye, then you want to throw out those makeup products. Pink eye can be caused from bacteria or viruses, and you definitely don't want to recontaminate your other good eye with that same bacteria. Now it's interesting that actually as humans, we all have different types of bacteria on the skin, and this is called the microbiome. So we each have unique bacteria, kind of like a fingerprint. So another great way to prevent contamination is reducing cross-contamination. So if you have a roommate or a brother and sister in the house, you don't want to share makeup products between one another because everybody's bacteria is a little different. The more people that use it, the more bacteria, and we don't want that. You know what's kind of gross? If I had to pick one room in the house that's kind of gross, it's bathroom. And bathrooms have a ton of bacteria in them. So, you know, where are we applying our makeup? In bathrooms. What else is in bathrooms? Well, a lot of moisture, water. Guess what bacteria loves? It loves moisture and water and damp, humid environments. So it's best not to store your makeup products in the bathroom. You know what happens often with makeup products? They get dropped on the floor. In studies, it shows about 30% of people drop their makeup products on the floor. I bet that number is much more common. But of course, the 5-second rule should not apply. I don't need to tell you that. I'd hope I don't need to tell you that. But I think a lot of people will drop it and reuse these products. It's not something you want to do. Beauty blenders or makeup brushes, the little sponges you use to kind of blend makeup, they're one of the worst offenders. They are literally like little bacteria farms. About 90% of these brushes and sponges have pathogenic bacteria. That means that bacteria that can actually cause harm. Makeup sponges get dropped even more often. About 64% of makeup sponges in a study were reported to be dropped on the floor. I don't know why we get buttery fingers with these makeup sponges, but they are a huge offender. They are totally gross. When they tested makeup sponges, they found 10 million bacterial colony forming units on them. Totally disgusting. So if you can avoid them, probably should. Definitely don't try to clean them. A lot of people do. You can't do it effectively. So don't even try, just replace it. Spend the money, please replace it and save your skin. Some of the bacteria that were found were Staph aureus, which causes a staph infection, Enterobacter, which comes from feces, and also Pseudomonas, which is a nasty water-loving bacteria. Now, what's the issue with bacteria in makeup? Well, unfortunately, a lot of the makeup we use is applied around the eyes and that. So this is a very scary area to have bacterial contamination because you can get infections, and some of those infections can be quite serious. You know, you don't want to lose your vision or compromise your vision because of some expired or contaminated makeup. So how we can use the makeup in the safest way possible would be to use makeup within the manufacturer's guidelines for use after opening. So there's a thing on the back of makeup when you open it, it's the little jar, you may have seen it, and that's called the period after opening date. And basically that's kind of determined by the preservatives in the makeup. When those things kind of give up and stop working, then the makeup's really not safe to use because those bacteria levels can get high. On top of this, the makeup, if it's a liquid, may start to lose the consistency that it had. As water evaporates, the quality of the product in general may not be as good. So rather than saving a few bucks or two, I recommend you go out and replace expired makeup to save yourself any trouble. Nearly 100% of people in studies have reported using expired makeup. So one of the quickest makeups to expire is mascara. It can actually expire in a little as 3 months, and you can imagine why. You're literally applying it to your eyelashes. You're getting it super close to the mucosal or wet part of your eye where bacteria and fungus can enter. Where things like eyeshadow can last a little bit longer, like 12 to 18 months. This is because eyeshadow is more dry. So remember, bacteria and fungus loves water. So when there's more water in a product like lip gloss as opposed to lipstick, bacteria are more likely to grow. Now the same thing applies for liquid eyeliner and eyeliner pencils. So liquid eyeliner, again, is only good for about 3 to 6 months. You're putting this right on the edge of the mucosal part of your eye, and it's liquid, and you're putting it on your skin, you're putting it back in the bottle, all that. So solid eyeliner can last 12 to 24 months. So a little bit longer because it's not wet, it's not that moist environment that harbors bacterial growth. So most makeup powders and blushes are good for about 2 years. But again, always look at the back of the product for that period after opening jar and follow the manufacturer's guidance, because it's all determined about how that product was manufactured. So we don't want any pink eye, we don't want blindness, we definitely don't want cellulitis, which is infection of the skin. What we do want is a great skincare routine to help us get our best skin. And I actually have a nice video that walks through a full morning and a full night routine. I go through every step of the way, the things to be using in the morning and what not to use, and also at bedtime, what to use and how to use the product. So I hope you'll check out that video. It's linked right above.